From basically the moment that we got to meet her, Big Mom was one of my favorite characters. And the reason I liked her so much isn't because she was the coolest, or the strongest, or the smartest. No, what separated Big Mom to me from the very beginning was how unpredictable she was, or how unpredictable I felt she was. Big Mom might legitimately be the craziest person in the story of One Piece. Seems weird to say, but I'm like trying to rack my brain of like, who else is just like totally unhinged? Not sure. Maybe Luffy? And it's this crazy unpredictability which makes Big Mom intimidating and fascinating. For those out there familiar with The Boys, she is Homelander. Childlike, clinically insecure, self-inflated ego, low intelligence, very self-righteous, totally bipolar.
See, you got the extra whipped cream in there, huh? Yummers.
She might love you one second, then kill you the next, or just straight up love you to death. That is a viable possibility. But long story short, with a character like Big Mom, you have so many possibilities for what becomes of her story. Because she's so inconsistent, many things can make sense. But particularly as Big Mom was clearly introduced as a villain, her possessing the theme of love and being the motherly Yonko was a contradiction by nature. Coupled with her dreams of a utopia where everyone got along, where they could all party together in peace as equals, you kinda wondered whether maybe there was a shot that Big Mom would not stay a villain. So where we're sitting in the story right now is kind of an awkward time because on one hand, it might be over, right? We might have seen the last of Big Mom in Wano. Frankly, a lot of people want that. On the other hand, the last thing that Big Mom actually said was, "Do not think me defeated." Famous last words. Big Mom, do not think me defeated. Narrator, she died. It's almost funny enough that Oda could do it. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if Big Mom returns in some capacity. Will we get more story or not? We just don't know. But if Big Mom's story is complete, I definitely see holes in the timeline. And I think that there's plenty to discuss about her story that isn't given to us very directly. So today I want to go over the untold story of Big Mom. This is a companion to the Kaido video that we made last week. Analyze Big Mom and her story. Read between the lines and find what's missing so that we can bring Big Mom's life to life. And if she is still alive, there's lots of implications for what she might do in the future or even just her pirate crew. If you guys are enjoying the One Piece content, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey YouTube, JoeBoy here. So, one of the most interesting things about Big Mom fundamentally is the creation of her character. This is something that we couldn't talk about as much with Kaido, but we can talk a lot about with Big Mom. This is gonna sound kind of strange, but Big Mom was basically born with more freedom than your average person. She was so freakishly strong that the people around her and even her very own parents were probably afraid of her. Babies and children throw tantrums, they cry. This is just human nature. But now imagine a world in which you done born yourself a baby that when they do this, they could actually hurt you. The whole concept behind Big Mom is fascinating just because she is an emperor of the sea, right? One of the strongest users of Conqueror's Haki in the entire story. And it's all based on her childhood. Big Mom was literally born a king. She always got what she wanted, or almost always. People say that power exposes someone's true nature, their true character. So it's just crazy to think about how different this story would be if Big Mom did not have such a sweet heart. The impression that I get as a child is that Big Mom was never really cruel, certainly not intentionally cruel. If anything, she was a nuisance because she wanted to be involved, she wanted to help. She just wasn't very good at it. And so this is the other important element of Big Mom's character, especially as a child, but I think that this is even true of her as an adult. Big Mom is not very smart. She basically has no logic. You can see this on multiple occasions in her flashback when her parents abandoned her and Elbaf and Big Mom waits there patiently because the last thing that they said is that they would be back. Yeah, about that. Big Mom believed them for a very long time. When you look at Big Mom's story big picture, it's very clear of how much of an impact these times in which she didn't get what she wanted, what impact that had on her. Big Mom, in all honesty, is a perfect pirate. If you define pirate as somebody who goes and gets what they want. Pirates covet treasure. You can almost say that Big Mom has been traumatized by every instance in her entire life, although few that they are, of not getting what she wants. And this obviously includes her parents abandoning her, which she could never understand. Big Mom certainly never wanted that. And after it had occurred, I think it became one of the primary driving forces in Big Mom's life. She never wanted to be abandoned again. For Big Mom, family and love is treasure. That never changed over her entire life. Not getting exactly what she wanted was painful. You know, there's a long list of parents in the story of One Piece that have abandoned their children, but one I cannot hold it against them at all is Big Mom's parents. Not very many people on the planet could possibly have raised Big Mom. And in a sense, you can consider it a stroke of genius to send Big Mom to Elbaf with other children that are relatively her size and strength. For Big Mom and her simple mind, I think that observation was important to her. She could see how other people interacted, how other people acted, and that influenced her. I think that Big Mom needed a normal childhood because she just simply wasn't capable of understanding that she was different. But I do wonder whether Big Mom's parents frankly ruined her before she even got to Elbaf. This is one of those connections that hides in plain sight, but there's a lot of similarities between Big Mom and the children of Punk Hazard. Some people even speculate that Big Mom is a product of experimentation similar to the children of Punk Hazard, given how disproportionately large and strong she is compared to her parents. It makes you wonder. But the children of Punk Hazard were addicted to candy. Of course, it was the chemical within the candy, but to them it was candy. Caesar made them addicted, and so when they did not get it, you would see withdrawal symptoms, which included rages. And we see the same thing with Big Mom. As she's left in Elbaf, she's left with a sack of candy. My opinion is that Big Mom's parents pacified Big Mom with candy from a very young age and made sure she had what she wanted when she wanted it, always. Basically, they spoiled her. But the interesting thing here is that Big Mom handled this well in Elbaf, because in Elbaf, she wasn't spoiled the same as her entire childhood. Mother Carmel and the Giants tried to impose discipline, at least to some degree. You could see this as the Giants were about to celebrate the winter solstice. During this event, they were to eat this sweet simla. And they told Big Mom that she needed to fast for several days before she could have any. And Big Mom actually tried to do that. Honestly, one of the saddest parts of Big Mom's story is her own desire to have idols. Her desire for people to love her. At her heart, she is a people pleaser. So she actually musters up the will to go on a fast for several days before she gets to have the treat, but she just doesn't last that long. The reason for Big Mom's rages is not explicitly given to us in the story, but I think that we can gather again through the connection between Big Mom and the children of Punk Hazard that at the very least, Big Mom suffered from addiction to sweets. Sweets had the same effect on her as the candy did to the other children. If she did not get them, she would go into withdrawal symptoms, which included rages and forgetfulness. And honestly, if you really break it down, I do think that this addiction to sweets is essentially the curse of Big Mom's entire life. She and everyone around her never figured out how much of a problem this was. Even in her later years, right, as she's older, why does Big Mom eat people's souls? Well, she explains the reason. They're sweet. So the pattern in Big Mom's life is pretty self-evident. She goes through withdrawal from sweets for whatever reason. She then rages, which nobody understands, including Big Mom herself. And the rage is in pursuits of sweets, which make her feel better. And that includes soul. Starting in her time of Elbaf, every relationship that Big Mom has ever had was destroyed because she was never diagnosed with an issue. And she was constantly enabled because everybody around her feared her. And I guess this is the last thing that I want to say about Big Mom's character. Is there are certain inflection points where Big Mom is incredibly impressionable as a child. And there was hope for her. There was potential for her to live a better life, to grow as a human. And what Big Mom needed to do, and what she was willing to do as a child, was listen to the advice of others. Mother Carmel, as an example, Big Mom looked up to her. A crazy truth is that Big Mom, even at age 68, still parrots the ideas that she originally heard from Mother Carmel as a child. Mother Carmel could have literally convinced Big Mom that the world was flat, and she would still believe that today. She would have done anything for Mother Carmel within her power. But we have a scene with a bear where Big Mom got frustrated that the bear and the wolf were fighting each other, and so she disciplined them and then killed them. It was an opportunity for Mother Carmel to teach Big Mom something, give her a truth. Murder is bad, even if your intentions are good. But ultimately, Mother Carmel was too afraid of her to give her this lesson. And it just exemplifies what I think Oda is trying to convey, which is that Big Mom badly needed guidance. Not only did she need it, but she wanted it. Because by her own nature, she wants the people around her to be happy. But throughout her entire life, Big Mom was always right. Not because she was right, but because people were too afraid to tell her that she was wrong. It's an endless feedback loop of just bad. And you can't even really blame Big Mom for it. And so the Big Mom that we see later in the story is just the same. Created by her own childhood. Mother knows best. Big Mom had a lifetime of experiences and interaction which proved this idea correct. To the point that if anybody ever accused her of doing wrong, or if anybody ever stood in her way and prevented her from getting what she wanted, they were the misguided one. So make no mistake about it, guys. Big Mom's entire story is a tragedy. For the most part, what I've said about Big Mom so far are things that I've said throughout the entirety of my channel. It's really nothing new. So what I really want to do is I want to get to places where it's not so obvious through the context of the story what is going on in Big Mom's story. And really the years in question that we're talking about is the gigantic span of time from when Big Mom set out to become a pirate as a child to when we meet her in Whole Cake Island. And the central event that I want to tackle is Big Mom joining Rox Dieselback, joining the Rox Pirates. Why did she do that? What was in it for her? What was her time like on Rox crew? We're undoubtedly going to get the answers to these questions. But I kind of think that if you parse through all the realm of speculation, you can actually figure it out right now, in my opinion. So to best paint a picture for you guys, I think that it's important to begin with Mother Carmel. Guys, at this point, it is obvious that Mother Carmel was a priest of Nika. The giants of Elbaf worship the sun god. They worship Nika. This is plain as day reading the recent chapters in Egghead when the giants saw Luffy. They recognized him as Nika. And even all the way back to when we first met Dory and Brogy, they referred to the sun god. This has been true from the beginning. And then as you go back and reread the scenes with Mother Carmel, it becomes abundantly clear that the giants associate her with the sun god or with Nika. The cross is a symbol that we see associated with Nika through Kuma's church, and Mother Carmel is a nun. More specifically though, when she is first introduced as a younger woman, before she's even arrived in Elbaf and founded the Sheep's House, she fights for the freedom of persecuted giants, attempting to spare them from execution. This is what she said: "Forgive their crimes, I will show you the way. I can guide you to a brighter world, where all peoples join hands and laugh together." Duh, right? Also, the layers of the psyop here are just fantastic. As we know now, Mother Carmel was actually an undercover agent of Cypherpole. Through her connections with Cypherpole, they devised a plan to use the religion of the giants of Elbaf against them. Most likely, the execution quote-unquote of these giants was staged, as well as Mother Carmel's appearance. I don't think that they ever intended to execute the giants. Their goal was simple: to make Mother Carmel an ally to the giants. So she researched and pretended to believe their religion so that they would trust her enough to go and live in Elbaf and all of the benefits from that. I say this all the time, man, but the social commentary in One Piece is incredible. But to put a bow on top of this, Big Mom started raging. She attacked the giants. She caused a gigantic wildfire, which Mother Carmel tamed using her devil fruit. It then made the homie Pandora. And she tells the giants that it was the sun god who calmed the disaster, which further confirms that in the eyes of the giants and how Mother Carmel was portraying herself was as a prophet of Nika. She effectively claimed to be able to magically summon the sun god. So why is all this important? Well, it's important because this was Mother Carmel's act in Elbaf. We've already stated that Big Mom was very impressionable as a child, especially so when it comes to Mother Carmel. Guys, it is almost 100% certain that Mother Carmel taught Big Mom the religion of Nika in Elbaf. And just the same as everything else that Mother Carmel taught Big Mom as a child, Big Mom most likely continued to believe that all the way up to present day. Guys, I'm convinced that Big Mom believes or believed in Nika. This could also apply to her pirate crew. There's massive implications for the future of the story, given like Luffy is Nika now and the giants recognize him like that. Makes you wonder what would have happened if Big Mom had seen Luffy transform and awaken his devil fruit before she was defeated. Oda, being the sly dog that he is, had Big Mom defeated a couple chapters before Luffy awakened his fruit. And even if Big Mom is dead in the present story, which I don't believe, full disclosure, but if she is dead, certainly this could apply to her pirate crew, her children, as well. There's lots of cool things about this going forward. But let's not get too distracted. I said this in a recent video, but just to reiterate, this is why there's parallels between the ancient iron giant robot and Big Mom. One of Big Mom's catchphrases is, "Where did you go, Mother Carmel?" And in a similar fashion, the ancient giant robot says, "Where did you go, Joy Boy?" Oda even describes Big Mom as an iron balloon. She's meant to be a parallel of the robot. So here's the thing, guys. When Mother Carmel tamed the raging wildfire and turned it into the homie Pandora, there's a panel where we cut to the giants and they said she worked a miracle. And Mother Carmel had to clarify, "It was not me, it was the sun god." But through this, there's an implication that the giants might have considered Mother Carmel to literally be Nika. They actually thought that she was the sun god, despite her attempts to pose as a mere prophet. She was basically too good at her job. So if this is what the giants of Elbaf probably believed, what do you think that Big Mom believed? As an impressionable, mentally limited child who thought Mother Carmel was the greatest thing ever, Big Mom probably thought Mother Carmel was actually the sun god. So when Big Mom says, "Where did you go, Mother Carmel?" she is actually saying, "Where did you go, Joy Boy?" They are saying the exact same thing. And so I personally think that this is kind of the key that unlocks the rest of Big Mom's story. Guys, from the moment that Mother Carmel disappeared, likely Big Mom ate her as well as the other orphans. Big Mom spent her entire life looking for her. She became a pirate, she sailed around, she did some things, she interacted with people, all in the pursuit of Mother Carmel. Big Mom was obsessed with Mother Carmel's dream. Mother Carmel's dream, which was in fact Joy Boy's dream or Nika's dream, the Sun God's dream. A peaceful world where everybody got along and laughed, regardless of their race, where they were equal and free. Or as Mother Carmel herself put it, a world where everybody saw eye to eye, which Big Mom misinterpreted badly. But Big Mom actually thought that this world that Mother Carmel spoke of, Mother Carmel herself was going to create, because she was the sun god. But we have a beginning and an end to this particular arc. The beginning is Big Mom becoming a pirate, sailing the seas in search of Mother Carmel. The end is when Big Mom finally realized that she was never going to find Mother Carmel by searching for her, so she created Whole Cake Island. Once again, another incredibly subtle detail that is not explicitly spelled out in the story. Whole Cake Island is the island that Mother Carmel disappeared. It is likely that Big Mom chose this island as her home base and developed her country around it, in the hopes that Mother Carmel herself would return when searching had failed. Once again, this is incredible writing on Oda's part. Essentially, Big Mom never changed. As a 60-year-old lady, she was just the same as the 4-year-old that was dumped in Elbaf, waiting endlessly for her parents to return. Big Mom never gave up hope that Mother Carmel would return. Even as it tore her up on the inside, she waited. And in the meantime, she set about creating a place that she thought Mother Carmel would be proud of. So this leads us back to the question, the story of why exactly Big Mom joined Rox Zebek. What did Rox have to offer to Big Mom? Guys, by the time that Big Mom joined Rox, we're not led to believe that she had created Whole Cake Island yet, meaning she hadn't given up her search for Mother Carmel yet. So I think that the search for Mother Carmel had a lot to do with joining Rox, because to Big Mom, that was the most important thing. That would be the reason why Big Mom did anything. I think that one thing that has never really made a whole lot of sense is Big Mom becoming a subordinate of Rox Zebek. Big Mom is not built to be a subordinate. At this point in her life, she's not listening to anybody else. She thinks that she is always right, and I don't think that she would take orders very well. Big Mom is a king by nature. Kings don't make great subordinates. Rox clearly wanted her on his crew for reasons of her individual power, but I think that there has to be an element of Big Mom trying to be a subordinate for some reason. One thing that we haven't really mentioned in this video is that Big Mom, despite not really being that smart, tries to be sneaky. This was essentially the setup to Whole Cake Island, is that Big Mom had laid a trap, an elaborate trap for the Straw Hat Pirates. She thinks that she is a mastermind, and perhaps some foreshadowing can be found to Big Mom's earlier life through the fact that the first step of Big Mom's mastermind plan was planting a spy. Pudding. Big Mom ordered Pudding to put on a charade, to put on an act, and pretend to befriend the Straw Hat Pirates. Big Mom's children are actually related to her, and they share some of her personality traits. Think about Big Mom and Min and Lola. I do wonder if Big Mom herself essentially did the same thing as a member of Rox Zebek's crew. She was never loyal. She just needed something from Rox, so she pretended. One of the more interesting things about Rox Zebek and his crew right now that we don't know is this was one of the strongest pirate crews ever created. Look at the members that were on this crew. It's just insane. Big Mom and Kaido and Whitebeard and Shiki. This was an all-star team. So how exactly did Rox lose? And the reason, as is suggested in the story, is infighting. The Rox pirates crumbled from within. So I mentioned this in the untold story of Kaido, but I don't think that Kaido betrayed Rox. I think that Kaido wanted to be loyal. I do not think the same thing of Big Mom. As is made clear when Big Mom is older, the only people that Big Mom really trusts at this point in her life is her own flesh and blood, her family or her children. Because Big Mom naively believes in this truth that your family will always love you unconditionally. Big Mom, who craved love, therefore made a lot of children, and then discarded her husbands. When we eventually get a full Rox flashback and find out how they were defeated, in my opinion, I think that Big Mom is going to be a central figure, taking down the Rox pirates from within. We already have a panel where Big Mom told Kaido that Rox is a good-for-nothing and to not trust him. In her not-so-cleverly disguised manipulative ways, she tells Kaido if something is bugging you, come tell me. So she was literally sowing dissension. But let's go back to why Big Mom joined in the first place. What was in it for her with the Rocks Pirates? And honestly, I think that what I'm about to say, based on what I've already said, is incredibly obvious. But we're gonna say it anyway. Big Mom became a pirate and sailed the seas in search of Mother Carmel. Guys, Mother Carmel is Big Mom's One Piece. That was the treasure that awaited the end of the adventure. Once she found Mother Carmel, she would be satisfied. So the way in which Rocks Dizabek helps Big Mom find Mother Carmel is very simple. It has everything to do with Rocks' interest in taboo knowledge. This is what Sengoku explains to us when we first learn of Rocks Dizabek's interest, is that he was pursuing the taboos of the world, and most likely this includes, or is predominantly, the poneglyphs and the secrets written on them. Guys, the poneglyphs were created by the Ancient Kingdom and essentially tells the story of Joy Boy. Joy Boy, who we know, just the same as Luffy, possesses the Nika fruit. Nika, who is known as the Sun God. We have already argued that Big Mom probably believed Mother Carmel to be the Sun God. I think that Big Mom believed that the poneglyph told the story of Mother Carmel. Guys, at the end of the day, if you read the poneglyphs, it tells the story of the return of Joy Boy. This is for sure true, contextually at the very least, because of Odin. Odin, who followed Roger, read all the poneglyphs, found the true history, believed that Joy Boy would return to Wano at a very specific time and place, and he wanted to open the borders to welcome him. This implies that by reading the poneglyphs, it tells you that Joy Boy is supposed to return and how to find him. So this is the story in my opinion. Big Mom was searching for Mother Carmel and eventually stumbled upon the poneglyphs. Basically, I think that Big Mom saw the poneglyphs as a map leading to her treasure, Mother Carmel. And she knew this in enough detail because Rocks Dizabek was following the poneglyphs and probably had some means to be able to read them. I think that Big Mom needed him, even if she didn't necessarily like him. But aside from Big Mom only really trusting her flesh and blood, what is it that she had against Rocks? I already have a theory that Rocks thought himself or attempted to become Joy Boy, which based on what we've already said, Big Mom would have thought was incredibly blasphemous. But for me, guys, this explains pretty much the rest of Big Mom's story. Even after the Rocks Pirates fell, Big Mom never lost interest in acquiring the One Piece. But what Big Mom always lacked, and knew she lacked, was the means to be able to read them herself. So for 40 years, Big Mom's story has been stalled. She had the map leading to Mother Carmel, or so she thought, a map that she could not read, even if she acquired all of the pieces. So following the defeat of the Rocks Pirates, she settled down in Whole Cake Island, hoping that Mother Carmel would find her way back to where she disappeared. And in the meantime, Big Mom tried to develop plots, schemes, to finish the adventure. This included having a daughter of the Three-Eyed Tribe, which was rumored to be able to read the poneglyphs, and I'm sure it was a massive disappointment to Big Mom that Pudding never really unlocked this ability. I think Big Mom put a lot of eggs in that basket. But at the end of the day, just the same as Big Mom as a 5-year-old waiting on the shores of Elbaf for her parents to return, Big Mom never gave up hope. And I think that it's by telling this untold story, you really get a full perspective of what Luffy did to her. Whole Cake Island was Big Mom's paradise that she intended to show to Mother Carmel to make Mother Carmel proud once she found her. The interesting thing is that you don't actually have to beat Big Mom in order to crush her dreams. Destroying Whole Cake Island is enough. While Big Mom is a villain and is incredibly flawed, there is something about her story that you can understand. She truly wanted to bring peace and love to the world, and she thought that she knew how to do that. She believed wholeheartedly and with complete honesty that anybody who stood in her way was attempting to make the world a worse place, because she only ever really wanted to bring the Sun God back to the world. Like I said at the beginning of this video, guys, Big Mom has always been one of my favorite characters, and I hope that this video explains at least in part why. She is just so interesting. Even all of the little details, such as Big Mom's plan to make an alliance with the Giants. It just hits different when you realize that Big Mom and the Giants believe in the same god. The Giants, of course, know that Big Mom killed Mother Carmel, but Big Mom does not understand any of this. She knows that the Giants respected Mother Carmel. They should be allies. And then you can start to physically feel Big Mom's frustration that people who should be able to understand her don't. She's still trying to help them. No different than the kid who tried to help the wolf from the bear. I really hope that the Elbaf arc, which is about to start, will include the Big Mom Pirates, if not Big Mom herself. It is just such a perfect time and place to conclude this story. And without question, there are things that we could still learn about Big Mom while in Elbaf. I honestly think that we should expect it. And even if she's dead, and the Straw Hats are partly blamed for that, there are things that the Big Mom pirates could learn about Big Mom, as well as the Straw Hats in Elbaf. Long term, I see the Big Mom pirates as allies, Katakuri and Pudding, but some things still need to happen. But as always, I hope that you enjoyed the video and you got something from it and it made you think. Check out my book, The Booms, link is in the description. Like the video, subscribe, click the bell to be notified, join the squad, and as always guys, have a wonderful day.